Hello, my name is Joseph A. Nagy Jr. I prefer to go by Alex. That's my middle name. And I'm 33 years old, married less than a year, and I have stage 3 osteoblastic osteosarcoma. I was diagnosed back in January after breaking my arm back in December, 2 days before Christmas, as a matter of fact. I've been doing pretty good. I've got a great team of doctors looking after me at Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville, Tennessee. This is the second time I'll be at that hospital for treatment. The last time I was there for a different type of cancer in the same arm, back in starting around March of '95. I was successfully treated back then for synovial sarcoma. I had been cancer-free up until recently. I'm not exactly how long this cancer has been with me, but I imagine it's been quite a while. There is a 8 centimeter long hole, hollowed out from my left humerus, and I got some pretty interesting X-rays that I'll probably wind up sharing on my Facebook if I haven't already. No, yeah, I've already shared them on Facebook. I might toss a link up here so you guys can go look at them. It's pretty interesting. I think you'll like my profile picture too. It's from a CT scan, and it's just really interesting. I started wanting to do this video log. Today's Wednesday, February 29th, by the way. I wanted to start doing this video log because I've got a lot of time on my hands right now, between chemotherapy and having my arm broken. I'm not going to be able to work for quite a while. So, aside from all the Bible study I've been doing and just generally, doing what little I can around the house to help out my wife, I decided I can use some of my time and do a video log. I can't get online very often, so I'm going to try and do this daily and just upload whenever I get to a internet connection, because right now I don't have an internet at home, and while that would be nice, it's more of a want than a need. That being said, anybody interested in helping out with a want, more than welcome to get in touch with me through private message on YouTube, and we'll talk. I'm not asking, I'm just saying, if you want to help, you can. It'll be accepted, but I'm not going to ask for it. So we got other needs that are more important, that are needs, and are being met, and we thank God for that. And I'd just rather not take advantage of the situation. So I know some of you probably wonder how we can thank God for anything at the moment, especially in me having cancer for a second time. And without going too in depth, because I got a sermon coming up, and while this most likely would be uploaded after the sermon, after I speak in front of my church, I just suffice it to say that I've come to an understanding about trials and tribulations and how they are used to refine us, and more importantly to refine our faith, to make it stronger, better, purer, and that I'm just happy for this opportunity. Yeah, it's cancer, but the doctor's prognosis is really positive. Some really aggressive chemotherapy till around mid-April, using cisplatin, adriamycin, and methotrexate. And then around mid-April, depending on how the tumors responded, complete and total joint replacement surgery using cadaver bone, which is going to be interesting. You had that movie. I don't remember the title where the kid was going, "I see dead people." Well, I'm gonna have a dead people's bone in my body, so I got you beat, kid. I think it's pretty interesting. I'm pretty sure there are people who are completely grossed out by the whole idea. But this is a prescribed treatment. This is a normal treatment. There was a football player I read about a couple of years back. He's a linebacker. He's a linebacker now. He had the same cancer in his left thigh, and instead of having a cadaver bone, which would have ended his football career, he opted for a titanium rod. I hope he's still playing and in good health, but I'm not exactly sure. I would have opted for a titanium rod over, having a bone. Yeah, I would have ended his football career, but then he wouldn't have to worry about the rest of his bone deteriorating, because I don't think there's any chance of this bone growing back on its own, and that's why I think they got the joint replacement scheduled. So it's gonna be interesting. I'll have somebody else's elbow for a little while until my own bone, calcifies over that, grows over that and replaces that basically, and that's just something I'm gonna have to have monitored on a regular basis, I imagine. Definitely going to take me out of work for quite a while. I am a licensed electrician, have been since August 2011. I've actually only had one job before this came up, and I've been in school since September 2010 until about the first week of December 2011. So I really couldn't find work that way. And plus, it hurts not having a driver's license. And that's a 10-year-old problem I have because of irresponsibility when I was a youth. But I've been taking care of that and had been making payments until my wife took personal leave and I got out of school. So it's been an interesting time, and I'm happy to to know that God considers me worth refining my faith. And I guess I could tell you a little bit about myself without going into my sermon. I came to faith several years ago. About 2.5 years ago, I made my public proclamation of faith, and I believe it was at that point that I was saved. But my journey actually began about 2 years before that. Let's see, it's 2011, 2.5 years. 2 years would be 2009. So my journey began about a year before that, in about 2008. 2007, 2008, that September. Yeah, it was 2008 because I came home in 2009. So 2008, September 2008, I tried killing myself. I had an old prescription for sleeping pills I don't even remember why I had them, but it was my prescription, and I had about 25 pills left. And I had 3 muscle relaxers, much newer, for throwing my back out at work a couple of months prior. And I wasn't really throwing my back out. I had spasms of muscle, though. It hurts nonetheless. Anyways, I took all the sleeping pills. I took all the muscle relaxers. And while I was waiting for them to take effect, I went over to a buddy's house. At the time, I was smoking pot. So we smoked a bowl, watched some TV, and when I felt myself getting sleepy, I excused myself, came back home, and I went to bed, and I pretty much told God that, because at the time I believed in God. I just didn't think He had any interest in me. I didn't think He cared about me, and I was pretty much, I had no loyalties or ties to Him, except I knew He was out there, just kind of watching over things. So, anyways, I told God, if I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm yours. I will find a way. I won't stop until I know I've got a relationship with you. And I woke up the next morning feeling like I had the best night's sleep ever, and I stuck to my end. I told him I'd seek Him out. So I started seeking Him out. I already had a Bible that I had gotten from an ex-fiance, and I thank her every day for that gift. Or I would if we still talked. We had a pretty bad breakup, and even though she's forgiven me, we're not in touch. It kind of bothers me, but not so much. Mainly because I don't like people being mad at me and feeling like they can't trust me. And I know I've continually, even now, I still make people mad, and I get in arguments with them. And, later on, I do ask for forgiveness. But sometimes, the trust is broken, and only God can restore that. So, anyways, I had a Bible, and the only church I really knew was Roman Catholic Church. That's what I grew up in. I was baptized as a baby, made my first communion, went through confirmation. The only sacrament I didn't receive, from the Catholic Church, was marriage. I didn't get married in the church, and that's because around 18, 20, I just left the church because I got tired. I had questions, and I didn't know how to ask them, and I didn't know who to ask. I was asking priests, and while they tried their best to answer, they could never give me an answer that I was satisfied with. Nothing they said, just clicked. They didn't have, and a lot of it centers around some of the teachings of the church too. But I tried not to question those to them because I really didn't want to. I didn't want to get excommunicated. Sure, I'm questioning my faith, but I didn't know how excommunication works. I still really don't, but I don't really care either. The bishop was telling me I'm excommunicated from the church, blah blah this, blah blah that. I tell him stuff it. Pretty much, I tell him stuff it. I don't recognize the Roman Catholic Church's authority. I think they have strayed very far away from gospel. They're like the Pharisees, they're like Pharisaical Israel. They're so focused on tradition and ritual that they completely lost sight of God, just like Israel. Today, even today, Jewish Israel, they're so focused on ritual and building temples and sacrifices and don't do this, don't do that. Yeah, God's got some rules, but man, He's more interested in your heart. He wants you to have a relationship with Him, and you ain't gonna have a relationship through the rituals. The rituals, they were just shadows of things to come. So, yeah, I don't recognize the Catholic Church, but that's what I went back to because that's all I knew. I started going to church. I went to confession. I confessed my sins. Received absolution from the priest. We won't go to that one either. But they were they tried helping out when asked. It wasn't much, but it was something. And while I knew that it was still empty ritual, is the only thing I knew. The only thing I knew about Protestant churches is that they split on the drop of a hair. I've heard of in the community I had come from. Because I was living in Knoxville at the time, and in McMinnville, I've heard of churches splitting over the color of chairs or carpet or whatever, and it's like, I don't want to be part of something stupid like that. That's God ain't part of something stupid like that. He's splitting over the color of the stupid carpet, really. Anyways, so and I went to All Saints Catholic Church until I moved back to McMinnville, moved back in with my parents. I was having some other troubles at the time, aside from the suicide, which I had sought treatment for afterwards, and I diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and I was receiving treatment for that. I was getting meds, therapy, that kind of stuff, and I've got to say that I was blessed. I didn't have that relationship with God yet, but I knew I was moving the right way. Things were getting slightly better. I was having problems finding decent enough work to pay my rent and other bills, but that's why I moved back home, and I got a job, worked there for over a year. Not quite a year and a half, but over a year. And while I was working there, I met some really nice people, Sylvia and Charles. I like to consider Charles still a good friend of mine. He started inviting me to his church, and Sylvia invited me to her church. So I'd alternate on a 3-church schedule. I'll go to church with my mom one Sunday, and the next Sunday I'd go with Charles, and the next Sunday I'd go with Sylvia. And Sylvia was real nice. We carpooled together. She picked me up and dropped me off at home because she lived pretty close. Sometimes I'd go over to her house, have breakfast in the morning. It was real nice. She's a real sweet woman, It was Charles's church that really impressed me the most, though. Seemed really friendly people. They seemed real God-fearing. The preacher was always excited about God and about leading people to Christ. Brother Dwayne Howard, when I met him, is definitely somebody I had no problem calling a friend and telling other people, hey, that's my friend. So I was born again. I was baptized, and ever since then it's been interesting. I dove right in. I was looking for more. That's all I wanted, is to know more about God, learn more about God. And I didn't want it just on Sundays. Eventually, one of the other people used to go to church there. He had them start up a discipleship class. There was a gentleman by the name David Cook, who was one of the elders at the church I currently attend. David Cook's a great man of God. I really believe that, and he has taught me a lot, and still teaches me a lot, and I thank God every day that I have men like him in my life. His father and his maternal grandfather. I guess it's just his grandfather. His maternal grandfather. They're all great men of God, and to be able to have a chance to know them and learn from them and listen to God speak through them has just been an absolute blessing. Matter of fact, Elder Richard, or Brother Richard, he spoke last week Sunday. Real powerful message. And I'm kind of nervous about following that up with what God's shown me through my study of Job. And I've even got David asking me to lead a Bible study on Job. Apparently, I'm the local expert now. I've only got God to thank for that. He actually had me start going through Job before. Around October, I started going through Job. I just couldn't get enough of him, and I still can't get enough of Job. There's still so much to learn from there. And every time I open up the Bible and I ask God to show me something, He does. If there's anybody who understands trials and tribulations, it's definitely Job. Job's definitely the man to go to. And I just can't wait until I get to meet Job, face to face. I want to shake his hand. I want to take a moment for him worshiping God to shake his hand. And that's where I'm at right now. I was receiving treatment, and I was still smoking pot and doing some drinking, but I quit smoking pot when I moved back in with my parents, and I quit drinking shortly after I was saved. And the drinking part was, for me, it was a matter of personal conviction. I wasn't getting drunk on the weekends, every weekend, or during the week, or whatever. I wasn't drinking to excess all the time. Just sometimes I would drink to excess, and something, some other people put forth toward me is, how would it look to a younger Christian who doesn't know me? What would they think if they saw me walking out of a liquor store after I told them I was a Christian myself? What would they think if they saw me walking out of a liquor store with a bottle or two of wine, or walking out of Walmart with a case of beer? How would I explain to them? Because the issue of drinking in Christ, Christ did drink wine on occasion. I don't think it's near as often as what others make it out to be. But, I don't understand the issue, and it's not like I'm going to be able to stop everybody and say, hey, listen, this is why it's okay to drink, or it's just not worth the effort. And the chance that I might miss somebody and cause them to either go back to drinking, or it's not worth it. It's not worth the risk. It's not worth the... So I just don't drink. That's all there is to it. I miss using alcohol to cook with, but it's one of the sacrifices. If that's one of the sacrifices I have to make, it's one of the sacrifices I have to make. So that's where I stand on that. I figured there's no point, beating around the bush about it. I used to drink. I drank after I was saved, and I stopped drinking as a matter of personal conviction. I don't see the point in causing other people to stumble, on something that, because they don't fully understand. And I'll be honest, I don't fully understand the whole, all the arguments for and against. I just decided not to, and that's all there is. That's all there is to it. I don't make a big deal when other people drink. I do kind of get preachy about drug use, though. Mainly because I've been there. I know what it's like, to smoke pot, and I know why people choose to. But I'm here to tell you that it's not worth it. I'll be flat out honest, it's not worth it. It's not worth it, you know, it's not worth the risk of getting busted. It's not worth losing a clear head over, you know, being able to speak with God, you know, fully aware of your faculties, because I'll tell you, when I was high, I was high. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I didn't have a clear thought in my head. And so, but, I got a lot to say on a lot of things, I guess, but I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to stop the video here, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm going to try to do this as a daily blog and just upload them when I get to a internet connection. That's one of the reasons why I would like to have internet at home, but like I said, it's a want, not a need. I can go, to coffee houses around, the area, or go over to my parents' house and take care of all that over there. So, take care for now. God bless, and I'll see you tomorrow.